Hi everybody, my name is Mr. Duncan, and may I say what a pleasure it is being here with you for another full English lesson. How are you liking them so far? Are they okay? Do they tickle your fancy? Are they right up your street? Are they just what you needed? Do they offer something useful to you? I hope so. Do you ever procrastinate? Are you a person who sometimes procrastinates? A procrastinator is a person who puts off doing things again and again. You have a plan to do something, but you never get around to actually starting it. You always find reasons and make excuses as to why you cannot do it yet. You procrastinate. You keep putting the thing in question off to another day. Perhaps there is a job that needs doing in your house that you keep postponing. Maybe there is something you need to get done for work that you keep putting off. To procrastinate is to delay, put off, postpone. You drag your feet, which is an idiom of procrastinate. Many of us put things off. We might avoid doing something because it is too difficult or it needs lots of preparation. To postpone something is to delay and put it off till another day. That is procrastination. One of the things I really like about living in the countryside is the number of trees that surround me. Even right here in my garden, there are trees of all shapes and sizes. Besides its most obvious use, the word tree can be used in other ways too. A family tree is the history of a person's family. To map out the course of your family history is to create a family tree. All those people who are directly connected with your own family belong to your family tree. Brothers and sisters, your parents and your parents' parents, which are your grandparents, your cousins and their families. You can trace your family tree as far back as you want, as long as there is a record kept of it. My own family tree goes back in two different directions. Some of my ancestors originally lived in France, which means that I am part French. Finding out about your family tree and who you are related to can be very fascinating. It's time to take a look at another current buzzword. A buzzword is a word or phrase that is commonly used in or during a specific period of time. Today's buzzword is racism. The word racism is a noun that means the hatred or prejudice aimed at someone based on their ethnicity or race. For example, racism aimed at black people. Pointing out a single characteristic of a person's race as being inferior is racism. To express racism is to make a racist comment, be it through direct speech or in writing. A person who expresses racism through their words or action is a racist. Normally, the person making the racist remarks does so with a sense of superiority. Over recent years, the word racism has come to mean prejudice based on not only a person's ethnicity, but also their culture or religious belief. Although this still remains a hot topic of social debate. A racist person might be described as a bigot. They hold and express bigoted views. Sometimes life can be very hectic. It can be hard to remember things. That is why it is useful to write things down in note form. To leave little reminders for yourself is a very useful way of making sure that you never forget those small and not so small appointments, ideas and plans. I often make small notes while planning my English lessons. I jot down ideas for subjects and topics to discuss. You can see here on this piece of paper I have written down the idea for this segment of today's full English lesson. It says, idea for topic, making notes and reminders. Sometimes I write the note by hand and sometimes I type and save it into my computer. A reminder note can be called a memo. You jot down a memo to remind you of an impending appointment or a thought that you've had that you don't want to forget. Come on, Lady Liberty, give us a nice smile. Say cheese. There can be no doubt about the popularity of photography as a hobby. So many people are taking it up now. To take up something means to begin doing it as a hobby, activity or interest. A serious hobbyist can be described as an amateur. So a person who takes photographs as a serious hobby can be described as an amateur photographer. It's amazing where a hobby can take you. For example, my interest in video cameras and video photography led me to making these video lessons, something I have now been doing for many years. So, who knows where that hobby will take you? There is nothing stopping you from taking an enjoyable pastime and turning it into a business. To do something you enjoy can lead you from being a keen amateur to a successful professional. That is, of course, as long as you keep at it and never give up. Do you have any hobbies? What interests do you have? Isn't it funny how some words have different meanings? For example, the word nursery. This noun has many meanings. It can be a room in a house for the use of a very young child. A child's playroom can be a nursery. A nursery can be a place where children are taken care of during the working day. A nursery school. A place or natural habitat which breeds or supports animals. This lake provides a vast nursery for fish. A nursery is also a place where young plants are grown for sale or for planting elsewhere. I bought this rose bush from the local nursery. The word nursery derives from the old French word for nurse, which itself is derived from the Latin word for nourish.
Halfway down the stairs is a stair where I sit. There isn't any other stair quite like it. I'm not at the bottom. I'm not at the top. So this is the stair where I always stop. Halfway up the stairs isn't up and isn't down. It isn't in the nursery, it isn't in the town. And all sorts of funny thoughts run round my head. It isn't really anywhere, It's somewhere else instead. Halfway down the stairs is a stair where I sit. There isn't any other stair quite like it. I'm not at the bottom. I'm not at the top. So this is the stair where I always stop.
Well, what do you know? Another full English lesson has come to an end. I hope it has been useful to you and that you picked up something new today from it. Join me next time for Full English number 10. Yes, it's true. What will be in the next lesson? What will I be talking to you about? Where will I be? All those questions and many more will be answered, hopefully next time. So I hope you will join me then. This is Mr. Duncan in the birthplace of the English language. That is, of course, England, saying thank you for watching me teaching you. And of course, ta-ta for now. Don't forget you can catch up with all of my English lessons by clicking on the playlists. Learning English with Mr. Duncan. Ask Mr. Duncan. The Word Stop. And of course, my full English lessons as well. With all of these lessons you will discover that the world of English is indeed a fun and exciting place to be.